morning. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie. Good morning, Karen. How are you this morning? You all bright-eyed, chippered, and did you watch this morning's show? It was pretty good. We had life hacks. Some of the hacks I don't know about, and then funny signs. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them were pretty good, especially one for the doctor's offices. Uh, Mary had a couple. She didn't do just one laughy face. She did three on one of them. I don't know which one it was, but I think I got her on it. I think even William did a laughy face in there. Uh, yeah, save the children and the formula. Uh, you know, I think things are going to do a move in the right direction there, Mary, because um, of the the uh, the oh boy, the results yesterday for California. There you go. We had a lot of recalls that happened in California. My sister called me first thing this morning because I told her get me some numbers. The problem is it's touchy with YouTube. You can't really talk about the E thing. I don't know why they're so touchy about it because everybody's going to talk about it anyway. It's that time of year. But a lot of the recalls went through, and a lot of very disappointed people that got recalled. Um, the thing about it is, I've looked around in some of the other states. There was seven of them that had um, had the you know what yesterday. That word isn't allowed. That's the problem. It's not allowed in YouTube. And if you mention the E thing, you get strikes. They don't even get you like copyright. They just give you a strike and they kick you to the curb. That's what got me on the last one. That's exactly what got me on the last one. So I don't want to get that strike. I know everybody investigator news too don't want me to lose this channel because then we're all going to go over to network next. So if you see this show and you're on two, please add an Investigator News Network. Look it up and add yourself to it because if we lose the two, that's where we're going. And I'm trying to keep it real um, nice and new, and I'm using a wrinkle cream on it to make sure we don't mess up over there. So, um, and good morning to Susan and Linda and Olga and Greg. I said Olga in the last show, but she's been sending me messages, so I wanted to give her a shout out. Um, so if you want to get in on a comment or a question, just put your if you're over in Facebook, just put it below in the comments. And if you're over here in YouTube, you just jump in chat. And Mary and Karen, our moderators, will make sure. So if you're new, welcome to the show. We've had, I think, 5 ads yesterday. So we're climbing. We're climbing up there. Um, all right. So, well, Susan, I made you. I twisted your arm. Well, no, I twisted your leg to make sure you subscribe to that channel. I mean, I took your shoes off, everything, twisted your leg. So, all right. But yeah, so what basically California, um, I'm seeing about 5 million too many over there in California. I don't know what they're doing, but there's 5 million too many. So I think you know what that means. But they're falling. They're falling across our nation. I've seen a lot of what I do is I get the total Democrats, and you guys might even do this. And then you get the total Republicans, and you're going to see what the turnout was and how much we're leading by. It gives you a good idea of what's going on with the E thing. Um, and before I get myself in trouble, I'm going to move on. I don't want to get in no trouble. All right. The gas prices, they just don't seem to matter. Are you guys seeing that no matter how many times we put the high cost or even the baby formula in front of these people, they're just like they smile, they giggle, they smirk, they avoid the question. I I believe even the press secretary yesterday had a hard time answering anything. Um, and not only that, we had someone else quit the White House. They got upset yesterday and stormed out. There's another one. Another one bites the dust. But they go and get jobs other places, and they're not going to get punished for it. But it seems these Democrats, the gas prices don't matter, they said, because you know what? Just go get an electric car and you'll see the difference. I, you know, I, who, this is what I'm thinking. My daughter's car broke down a couple weeks ago. Now she can't afford to get a new car. She can't. She can't. It's almost brand new, so it was a new used. So she really didn't have the warranty to it. Now, if she was to say, "Forget it, I'm going to go buy me a electric car," she don't have the money for that. I mean, she barely got the money to have it fixed, let alone have go out and buy a new electric car. And I've asked around, even those college students I was talking to. I asked them who all had electric cars. None of them did. They said they can't afford it, not unless their parents buy it for them. Um, so yeah, I do too, Susan. But then guess who we get? With them and their stupid electric cars. They now, if they were to do this in, let's say, 10 years, if they said, 10 years to get you an electric car, now I could see that as feasible. And that was the original deal. That was the original plan. If you look back, that all this Green New Deal was going to take 10 years. Well, how did it turn into two? I mean, all of a sudden, 2 years, and we have to have it all. Got to have it to save the planet. Well, not everybody buying electric cars is going to save the planet. Not when we got China polluting and India polluting and other countries polluting that don't care. And not only that, it's supposed to be worldwide. Now, tell me someone in Africa that don't even know where their next meal's coming from is going to be able to afford a electric car. And, oh boy, yeah. Um, so they're pretty much laughing. I don't know why they're laughing, smirking, giggling. It makes no sense to me. Why laugh at baby formula shortages? And not to mention, the shelves are stocked in Canada and Mexico. And so why are we getting it from, what is it, France? Makes no sense, folks. It makes no sense. And as what's going to happen when they run out of baby formula? Then what? Then what are they going to do? They can't get it from us. Who are they going to get it from? Because it's all over. This is happening all over. And if you watch this morning show, you'll know that I did a consumer alert that they're putting less in packages now, and that now it will be a 5 to 50 cent increase in all across the board on food within the next week. So, 5 cents may not seem a lot, but when, we've just had a price hike last week, that this is crazy. And then I was talking about Campbell soup, and there's more in here. Um, have you guys noticed Campbell soup is their cans are smaller? They're getting less. Um, I was telling the viewers this morning that I fixed a can of tomato soup yesterday, and I looked at the can. I was like, "Did this get smaller?" And I said, "Well, maybe I got bigger," but no. I used that same line earlier, but that's the way I felt. It was like, wow, it's gotten smaller. And I looked at the ounces on it, and I couldn't remember what it was before. So they had me fooled on that one. Um, well, you know what? I'm going to get that out and let you guys know. Let me get this my paperwork, and I'll tell you guys. All right. Um, Honey Bunches of Oats. The cereal. It was 14.5 ounces. It's now going to be 12 ounces. Folgers coffee. Ooh, mess with my coffee. Was 51 ounces. They now dropped it to 43.5 ounces. Gummy bears, the Haribo Gold, it was 5 ounces. Now it's 4 ounces. Angel Soft toilet paper. It was 425 sheets. It's now going to be 320 sheets. Um, Kleenex, they said 65 to 70 sheets in a box is now going to be 60 sheets. Arm & Hammer detergent, it was 75 ounces. It will now be 67.5 ounces. Doritos, 9.7 ounces. It's now going to go to 9.2 ounces. And then we got uh, Lipton or Campbell Soup is going to drop theirs down another 5 ounces, or not 5 ounces, 0.05 ounces. Lipton packaged soup that you use in recipes, 1.2 ounces it was, and now a 1 ounce. And I only did the Lipton packaged soup because we use those in recipes. That will change your recipe. So think on that. Yeah, Susan said more air in the bags. That's what I said earlier, Susan. Uh, more air. I don't want more air. I want more chips. I mean, what is it? Maybe 4 or 5 chips, but that's 4 or 5 more chips that I can't feed the dog. I share chips with my dogs. Me and the dogs eat chips on the couch together, and crackers. In fact, Mary calls me. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Eating graham crackers and watching fishing." And yep, I was eating graham crackers with the dog on the couch. So yeah, we share crackers and chips together. So, um, yeah, hmm, I claim that I'm cutting back, so I give the dog more of what I would eat. It's like, okay, now I need to cut back like 2 chips, maybe 4. All right, dog, 4 chips for you. Now I didn't eat them. I'll sit down and eat a whole bag. I don't know about you guys. I put a bag in front of me at my desk. I'm Next thing I know, the whole bag's gone. I'm like, oh my god, that's like 5 more sit-ups for me. So, all right, I want to move on with this news. Um, oh boy, this is this is just sick. I don't even know what to think of this drag queen thing anymore. Democrat lawmaker jokes about mandatory drag queen story time for all students. They're going to bring him into our schools, and I think he's serious. He thought it was funny. I don't see nothing funny about this because this is part of critical race theory. And it was a California state senator, so those in California get mad. He suggested making drag queen story time a public school requirement. Uh, you're like, okay, who is it? Senator Scott Wiener. So I'm wondering, is that a distant cousin or something to remember Wiener guy with who was he with? Hillary's assistant, I believe. So whose district covers San Francisco? Yeah, him. Yep. After Texas State Republican Brian Slayton announced that he was filing a bill that would prohibit children from attending these drag shows, because this last one they took them to a bar and then they were like almost naked. Um, this guy just gave me the bill idea, he said, offering Drag Queen 101, a part of K through 12. He tweeted, attending Drag Queen story time will satisfy the requirement. Why are we trying to satisfy 4 and 5 year olds? That's not satisfying. That's disgusting. Um, and then, according to what their office said when they were called on it, oh, he was just joking. No, it's no laughing matter. That isn't even funny. They may sit and think this is all funny, but I just don't think it is. Um, And then one of the response on a tweet, because he was tweeting it too. Um, Brian Slayton, he said, I would never take my children to a drag show. And I know Speaker Dave Fellon and my Republican colleagues wouldn't either. Um, yeah, that's just sick. That's just sick stuff. Um, let's see. Do what? I wish I could blow this up. They have spent, oh my gosh, the total spending in New York for Drag Queen Story Hour um, is $98,000. $98,000 they spent on it. Taxpayers, poor New York people that don't agree with this. Um, your taxpayers are going to for these drag queens to go library to library to library. That is just that's sick. That's just sick. How long is it going to be before Biden and Kamala Harris put that in our taxes? No. Yep. Oh boy. Uh, I've got my 5-year-old granddaughter starting school this year. And thank goodness I know the school over here. It's the one I've always worked with. So I feel she's pretty safe. But I'm going to be going to that PTO meeting and find out what the curriculum is. And that's something all of us should do. Now, back on the San Francisco, California thing. Um, I am calling all Republican voters to watch them boxes. Um, uh, the the um, the drop boxes. We need people to watch it because there, like I said, there was five mil too many that happened when we added everything up this morning. Um, so it's calling all Republicans in California. We need you to watch these boxes all over the state of California. My sister said, why don't they just um, start their own country? California is big enough. It's as big as some countries. Why don't they just separate from us? Because California's done with them. And my sister lives in California. She lives close to the Bay Area, which is San Francisco. So yeah, she's about had it with all of them. All right. Um, let's see. It sounds like did anybody watch the press secretary yesterday? Um, she basically was losing her patience yesterday. I didn't watch it, but they said she was getting really snippy with the press club that was there at the press club. She was getting very snippy with some of the questions being asked. Well, you know what? They haven't even hit her with hardball stuff. And then it was Senator, or I don't know if he's a politician, McConaughey, I believe is his name. He got up there and he was pretty good. I listened to what all he had to say, and he's calling for not to defund the police. He wants crime cleaned up on our streets. So, um, former Obama advisor gets a cat out of the bag, and what the Democrats want to do to control us. Now, there's been quite a few that's done this, folks. Um, every once in a while you get one of these um, politicians or that aren't on the mic and they're just talking freely and they keep forgetting that these reporters have got microphones on them and they'll get everything that they say. Now, this one here was on um, MSNBC's Morning Joe. Ooh, I can't stand that guy. And he was a former White House communications director for Obama administration. And he says, this is the problem with this country, that we have a very well-funded, very aggressive operation that's spreading these lies for profits and political gain. It's incredibly dangerous. Oops. Yep, that's what he said. Um, and and then the top of the list is basically the Clinton campaign. People on the left believe all kinds of crazy things about the P tapes. And not only that, but going against Jenny Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, trying to overthrow a government or make big government. But as I told you about them college students, folks, they want this. They want the government to take over. So them saying this is what the Democrats want to hear. I mean that's a wake up call. That's a wake up call. They want this to happen. And when you ask them about gas, it's okay. It's okay because the taxes will that they're going to put in place will give us free college and free welfare, and we won't have to work. We'll be able to do okay. And uh, oh my goodness, you got. I can't believe that the Democrats really feel like that gas could even be $10 an hour, $10 a gallon, and they're okay with it. They're okay. Wow. And maybe that's why the Democrats are laughing, because they've snookered their own voters. Um, Yesterday, Yellen was on the stand. Did anybody happen to catch her, what she had to say? It was very um, disheartening. She's supposed to be back today, and I hope they ask her even bigger questions. Now, I do have some of her statements coming up, um, but she at one point looked like she was going to cry. And get this: she used to work. A lot of you don't know this. She used to work for the Federal Reserve, and she was very good. So how did she? I mean, she's they said 70. Um, and I mean, is she slipping a little bit, maybe? Because it just didn't make no sense of what she was almost saying, that it was almost like it's all okay, that, we're all going to make it through this and don't worry about it. But then she turned around and said, well, this isn't the worst yet. The worst is yet to come. And it's like, I thought you just said it was going to get better. You can't say, hey, it's going to get really worse, but it's going to be okay. It's going to get better. She couldn't even give a timeline on how long it was going to be before we start seeing any relief. And, we know by the economists that it's going to get even worse by the end of the year because we'll see the next increase. So yeah, William says it's intentional. Definitely intentional. All right. Uh, they now have, now it says 15,000 strong migrant caravan that's making its way to the U.S. border. Now, my source down in Tijuana said what she heard was 25,000 or more is heading to the border right now. They're going to storm it. They said that they've seen it in the past where so many showed up, and with 10 border patrol, they can mow that many over with thousands of people. So that's what they're basically going to do. They're talking storming the border. And so now I think we should be putting the National Guard out. If the National Guard's there, I think they might just not do it. We need something. We need military with a stronghold on that border at this point. But Mayorkas would probably just pull them or won't approve of National Guard on the border. But if my source is right, 25,000 to storm that border, someone's going to get hurt. I just really think someone's going to get hurt on this. Um, um, FBI And DOJ notes the special counsel released are huge. Um, it's handwritten notes from a briefing of the acting attorney general on the status of Crossfire Hurricane that revealed the FBI either lied about the source of info or the British intelligence community fed information to the U.S. Agents investigating Trump and his associates. And they now have the notes. And this is something that is recently come out. So, how convenient for it to come out after the Sussman trial. That's what gets me. I don't know if Durham released it or if it's something new that has come out. And it doesn't say in the article. This is through the Federalist, and they're pretty good about listing. But they did not. They said nothing about this note, and it's on a yellow piece of paper. Um, who's in charge of the president? Klaus Schwab, I say. That's who I say. Because of the one world order or the one world that they're pushing. Um, they want this one world really bad. And you know what got me? The college students want it too. Oh yeah, $15 an hour all the way for everybody. Well, who in Mexico, or how about, let's say, Cambodia or Vietnam? Are they going to be able to afford to pay their workers $15 an hour? Nope, nope, I don't think so. And I tried to tell them it's taken down the middle class owners, small business owners, on them paying their employees that, and there's nothing left over. And this is the college students' response. So they shouldn't be making any more profit than we do. They should be making what we make. I know there's overhead and there's costs. Well, then they need to maybe work harder. It's like, what, you want them to go back to work and run a business? No, they just need to spread the wealth. So what they're thinking is, and I told you I was going to get into all this week with you guys, with the college students. What they think is, um, the employer pay all the cost and then make only what they would get as $15 minimum wage. And anything over that has to be shared with the rest of the employees because it's equal. Yeah. So shocking, shocking. It was definitely shocking to me. Let's see now. But this note, let me see if it's um, soon after the release of the notes. Hans Magny and Stephen McGinty detailed it for the Federalists, and several passages that indicated the FBI had lied to the DOJ during March 6, 2017 meeting in numerous ways, from cryptic notes. And they exposed several significant false storylines. And the notes became public during the Sussman trial, and that ended in the acquittal last week. So see what I'm saying? It came after the fact. And all of a sudden they have these. Well, no, this isn't acceptable. They should be able to pull this in, do an appeal, and for withholding evidence on this. So, but yeah, more stuff's coming out, even the stuff with the boys on the track. I'm going to start a little bit of it tomorrow, you guys. And I think you guys are just going to be blown away by who's involved in all of this. Everybody that's involved. And it goes way back. It goes even before the Clintons were in office here in Arkansas. So, I mean, think about all the politicians that's been in that long. Oh, Grassley made it. He made his primary. He's 88 years old, folks. And I seen that and I thought, he's a Republican. Is he too old? My chat room and even over in Facebook, I want to hear a response to this. I want to hear if 88 is too old for him to be in office. I know he's good, folks. I know he's good. But my feelings on this is a little too old. So get this: if he's in for 4 years, okay, he's 88 right now. He has to make his election in 2 years. That's 90. He'll be 94 at the end of his 4 years. I don't think he'll be able to finish. I think he needs to find someone that he could support and help him that way. I hate to take away a Republican, but 88 is a little bit too old, I think. And I think we need age limits, not only term limits. We need a certain age limit that is voted on by the people and for the people to decide, not Democrats saying, "Oh yeah, yeah," until they look at their own, like Feinstein. Uh, yeah. Oh, get this. Um, she won in 16 and 20 with 120% of the vote. Now get this. Well, on the tickets that they were looking at, um, it was the only thing marked on some of these were the vote for her. Nothing else was filled out. Isn't that an incomplete? But it was mail in. So, boy, we got some overhauling of our system to do. Let's see. Oh boy. You know that January 6th thing they're going to put on TV that's redone? Well, Nancy Pelosi wants to bring in the Kennedy Center performers for it. They want to have parties with it, and they want to give ice cream away, ice cream cones. I bet that was Biden's idea on that one. But yeah, this whole thing, it's to bribe people to care about the trial with parties and ice creams. Um, and they're going to give free stuff away with it. Um, this is why I say they're falling. The Democrat Party is falling, and now they're going to start bribing people with parties and ice cream. And, are they going to start giving away like with Dairy Queen or what is it, Baskin Robbins and a few others that are well known, give away um, free ice cream cones if you vote a certain way? Wow. This is really odd, really odd stuff. Um, Now, Iran turns off two of the nuclear watchdog cameras. Now, they have the UN, uh, let's see, the UN has got cameras um, that are on like a nuclear watchdog, and they're monitored on all of its atomic sites. And so Iran leaders decided they were going to turn them off. And they said they don't need it anymore. They don't need to be watched. And they said they shouldn't be censored. And they described the two cameras as monitoring Olam enriched levels of flow meters that appear, and it refers to the IAEA's online enrichment monitors, which watch the enrichment of uranium gas through the piping at enrichment facilities. And so now they have turned them off. And they said, unfortunately, the agency is without considering this cooperation, not only did not appreciate this, what they had done, but also considered it as a duty of Iran. So, yeah, there you go. Now they're turning off cameras in order for the UN inspectors not to be able to see what they're doing. And that just means they could pump out more than what they have been in the past. Um, um, I think you got this one here, Portland. For those that live around Portland, the Air National Guard unit is first in the country to test out a robot dog for base security. Um, there he is, right there. There he is. And that's what they're going to be using for base security on the bases around Portland, or the base. It's a Portland. Uh, so yeah, I think this is kind of interesting that um, that they're going to spend their money on it, but it also helps with the MPs. It said that they have cut back on some of the MPs, and now it's going to be the Portland Air National Guard 142 Security Forces Squadron. And it became the first Guard unit in the nation to receive the new robot dog. Many of the bases, SAC bases, SAC bases is air, like Air Force. MAC is, I believe, Army. William will correct me if I'm wrong on that. So this organ-based guard unit's quad leg unmanned ground vehicle, otherwise known as UGV. They could at least give him a cute name. Can also conduct a video surveillance and patrol a fence line without putting airmen in danger. The robot dogs first made an appearance as active duty bases last year, and it was only for testing. And now that it's ready to be actually assigned to a base, they went through and they looked at the SAC bases, and they said they drew for it to decide. And the Portland National Guard will get the dog. So, yeah, I mean, he kind of looks like a dog. I don't like his knees are backwards. It just seemed that if they did the knees forwards, but they say they need it backwards for stability. So, yeah, there we go. So, who's in Oregon? Tell me if you're in Portland, Oregon. Let me know, and tell me if you what you learned about these dogs, or even if you're at that base. We have a lot of military members have been watching, so I'd like to hear about it. MAC, military airlift. SAC is so I don't know. It's been, you guys have to forgive me. It was 86 when we were in the military. So I knew SAC bases because we were Air Force. So, um, but yeah, I think that's a neat addition. They would use them for, policing, but they say that they would probably end up abused and maybe even destroyed by rioters. So we're not ready to put him on the street patrol yet. But yeah, so his name is QUGV, and he can conduct video surveillance and patrol a fence line without putting the airmen in danger. So I thought that was a pretty neat little add in. All right, two injured in a military helicopter in southern Alabama. For those that may have heard something last night. And so the last story of the dog and this one and the Iran comes from military.com. This is military um, website. I'm sorry. So um, it's in Ozark, Alabama. The two aviators were injured Monday when a military helicopter crashed near the Army base in southern Alabama. The AH-64 Apache helicopter was involved in an aviation accident, and this is in Alabama, according to the news release from Fort Rucker. Two-person air crew was transported for medical treatment, but no fatalities were reported. Good flying to the pilot. So yeah, oh boy. Um, well, I don't think, Karen, I don't think they're getting rid of soldiers for the dogs. I believe it's enhancing. Uh, well, the military cuts instead, they're not getting rid of them. They just don't. with the cuts in the military, they just don't hire more personnel. And as there is more and more going on these bases or outside the fence area, they just need a little bit of extra protection. So it's not that they let anybody go or it's replacing anything. That's what this article went into. That it's basically to enhance protection. It's like having a gun at the gates, an extra gun, and this thing can run. I mean, they're quick. So, uh, so anyway, um, Ukraine. As the Ukraine war continues, yesterday I told you about the city in Donetsk, and it has been heating up overnight. And the latest is Russia has claimed that its forces have been taken full control of the city's residential neighborhoods, even seeks to establish control over industrial zone. According to Vladimir uh, Putin, he is protecting the residents from the war. And now, according to Zelensky, he vowed to retake it and end the gains made by Moscow. He even admitted that his forces were struggling to hold their ground as street fighting continued. Um, the days of long battle of the industrial city is pivotal for Russia since it's focusing all its offensive power to achieve one office, one of the office stated goals, which is to fully capture Lunix and Providence. And the satellite imagery from Maxwell Technology showed significant damage to these cities and almost to the point of nothing left in Seville, Donetsk. Nearby Rubizin, the U.S. firm said that Russia had positioned multiple rocket launchers, both self-propelled and towed artillery, in the northwest and oriented the position towards the cities. Now, see, folks, did you hear that? You can read through an article like this and say, oh, okay. Now you realize that they're going to be firing at Putin and where they are at. Now, when I I got a hold of my reporters on the ground over there, and I said, so what does um, Putin actually have? Is it the industrial and residential? It's mostly residential. Now, my fear is they're going to fire these rockets into the residential areas. But that's part of war, folks. War isn't pretty, and there's a good possibility. And it says the Russian troops were preparing for the attack of the key city of uh, Seville, and that's about 65 miles. Oh boy. um, they say it's going to capture, would open up the route to Kramatorsk, which is the main city of Ukraine, held by the part of the Donetsk region. Meanwhile, Russian state media said that over 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers who had surrendered in Mariupol have been transferred to Russia for the investigation there. So this backs up, folks, and this is this was WION that it wrote this, and they said that it's to prove that um, they did. There was Ukrainians that set their weapons and or left their military equipment and left. Now there's an additional 500 that have done the same thing. So they said in total, 2,200 Ukrainian military have, and this is the ones that they made fight. The civilians that they made them, 60 to or 18 to 60, they had to go. They couldn't go with their wives. These are the civilians that are laying down and walking away. So there's 2,200 of them. And they said more plan on doing the same. So, um, um, So this is, you could see that remember a week ago, we had our own media say this was a farce, that it was Russians that were fleeing and going back. No, this shows right there that this is happening. And so when I did talk to my reporters on the ground, they verified that it was right. They said 2,000 to about 2,500, but they don't have the actual count. Um, North Korea, of course, North Korea is back in the news, and soon um, they're issuing a warning. A U.S. Special Representative for North Korea has now said the Hermit Kingdom could conduct a seventh nuclear test at any time, asserting on how the country has shown no interest whatsoever in returning into negotiations in the past. A few um, over the past few months. And North Korea has a test launched an unprecedented number of ballistic missiles. And according to the report now, the country now plans to use tactical nuclear weapons. On June 5th, North Korea carried out a test that launched 8 ballistic missiles from various parts of the country, the most ever launched and missiles in a single day. That was a lot. See, I thought it was just one, but come to find out, um, they launched more. They did 8, and meanwhile, reiterating the U.S. assessment on North Korea of preparing to conduct a seventh nuclear test, which could be 8 to 10 of them fired at once in different places. So, wow. So North Korea has launched 31 ballistic missiles in 2022, the most ballistic missiles ever launched in a single year, and further surpassing the previous record of 25 in 2019. So um, they said due to the outbreak that they weren't able to test, so they just trying to get ahead at this moment. So during the pandemic, they said they didn't fire none. And I went and looked and I couldn't find anything on it because I'd like to know if that's a true statement or not. I thought they had um, did some during the pandemic, but I can't. That's just me guessing at this. Um, The U.S., South Korea, and Japan on Wednesday held a meeting at the vice um, ministerial level in South Korea, and the capital focused, um, in which was to discuss coordinated response to possible imminent North Korea nuclear strike, uh, or even with the tests that they are now concerned. Japan let their concerns known, and it seemed to be ignored. Um, now, um, I'm going to move on to India, and this is something that it kind of concerns me because there was a lot of chaos going on down in India of protesters, and um, out of the blue, they found out that a lot of these protesters were Al Qaeda, and now Al Qaeda's in India, and now they are making it a warning was issued as of early this morning that it will carry out suicide bombings in the Indian cities over controversial remarks made by 2 spokespersons of India, India's ruling party on Islam and the Prophet. And so now they should be able, and they said it should be allowed, that ISIS and Al Qaeda move in to um, start doing suicide attacks. So I read that and I thought, so what? They're allowed to just go in, and because you say something bad, uh, heck, we say stuff bad all the time about the Democrats. Um, but the thing is India. They're known. They have their jokes. Everybody's got their jokes, but I guess when you do it against the Islamic extremist, uh, you're up for attack, and they say that it should be allowed. Um, it's and the Al Qaeda in its statement referred to the incident, saying that hearts in Muslims all over the world have been filled with feelings of revenge and retribution. And it's the newest affiliate of the Al Qaeda, and it was reported to launch in 2014. The group is believed to have members from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar, and they have carried out attacks against atheists and doctors and priests, the churches. And meanwhile, India has maintained that the views belong to only a few fringe elements and do not represent those of the government of India. And for more insights on this same um, principle, diplomatic correspondent Sidian Sybil has sent a report from New Delhi listening. And the terror organization and Al Qaeda has certain attacks in India in place, like Mumbai and Gujarat. And so they said that this is a warning to those different states inside African nation. Um, there was um, a Saudi Israel meeting, and basically these are sworn rivals, but they're holding secret talks. I hate the secret things, but they're holding secret talks. In Saudi Arabia and Israel, the talks are being brokered by the United States, and rumor is that it's going well. And officials say that it's not questioned if uh, they will recognize Israel for its views, that it's something that they need to come together on and work together so that terrorists can't take over the Middle East. That's what it sounds like. And also, maybe portions of the fossil fuels coming from Saudi for Israel to work out so they can get some of it too. So, um, anybody hearing ticking yet today? I've had it worked on, and my computer guy says it's been fixed. So hopefully we're not going to have any issues. The Mexico summit, um, they had it, and Mexico president was very disheartened with this because the Biden administration made who could come and who couldn't. Um, and Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua were excluded, according to the White House. And they say they stand against democracy. Well, I don't think they do. They are dictators, and as a result, in an extraordinary challenge to President Biden, the Mexican president has decided to boycott the summit because everybody should be there, not just ones that agree with the United States. And the U.S. led gathering of leaders from America. Um, they said Lopez and President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said he was boycotting the summit because Cuba and Venezuela were not invited. And the department spokesman, Ned Price, said Monday that the U.S. understood Lopez's decision and made no apologies for it, and said this is just how it is. This is how we wanted it for everyone's safety. I think it's just a bunch of malarkey. Because I think the reason Biden didn't go down there is because he wants to keep the border open. Um, you know what? He don't want to hear what they have to say because they're going to say they're overwhelmed. So good. Well, maybe I got it all fixed. I had my computer guy come over and he did a few things, and then I get it all fixed, and the dog yanks the wires out from behind my computer and messes my monitor up. So I did have my monitor back today. So I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Um, let me, smart policy, not policy, smart policing. This is something new that the Democrats are mentioning with the gun grab and defunding the police. They have a smart policing initiative, and everybody's been saying, "Well, what is it? What is this?" Um, uh, they have five goals: creating a sustainable partnership between law enforcement, researchers. Now, listen to this because this is what smart policing is. It's law enforcement and researchers using technology, intelligent intelligence, data, and innovative ways of enhancing collaboration within law enforcement agencies, with external agencies, with the communities these agencies serve, in promoting evidence based practices in law in, for law enforcement agencies, and the advancing of science based policing practices. That's what it is. Now tell me, it's either defunding the police to put this in. Now uh, I think the gang member with the gun has no clue what this is about, or even what it means. But it sure sounds like they're going to open up a couple departments, and they're going to use numbers and stats and percentages. Then they're going to use their intelligence with this data to enhance collaboration within law enforcement agencies. Huh. Mary, did you know about this? Um, what they call a smart policing initiative. And it's a big article on it, but that's scary. It's like those counselors they wanted, and they gave it a try for about 2 years, and just out of percentage wise, 80 of them walked away. 80% walked away saying they're not going to have a gun stuck in their face. So let's see, OAS. So this is smart policing, and this is what more and more of the states are doing. Democrat states are doing, like Chicago and a few others up around Minneapolis. Is smart policing. They're defunding the police and putting smart policing in, and this is what they're talking about. But when you ask them, they don't know what it is. Um, Not only Fox News, but I've seen quite a few of these conservative that have been going around asking, what is smart policing? And nobody knows. Well, now they have it. And let's see, this comes from um, BJA. It's the Bureau of Justice Assistance. Is part of the U.S. Department of Justice. So this comes from the Justice Department, folks. This isn't something the city or the states are writing up. This is a law by the Department of Justice that did this. So what's that tell you? That the Department of Justice is okay with defunding the police. Now this was really hair raising to me, because I thought, you know what? Wait a minute now. Something ain't right here. We shouldn't be having the Department of Justice jump in and control what's going on in the individual states. Now, this so the states have the power to write or bring in their own laws, or reject some of the federal laws. It just got to go through the court process. Just like I was telling you about that one yesterday. So this is something that if it's done federally, this would give the Republicans the chance to go against the Department of Justice, and they can. They just have to take it through the court system and go through the appeal process. And I have a funny feeling that we're going to end up with this initiative going to the Supreme Court. So, um, this is something to watch. But now you guys know, um, exactly what this is and what it means. Um, let me okay. For those that are interested in it, I'm posting it into my chat. So if you guys want to take a look at, there's a lot to it. It's a whole great big long page, and it goes into the different what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Um, and I think it's important that the viewers really get a read through it and see what's going to go on in their communities. This is very important, because we can't fight something that we know nothing about, and they're trying to keep it quiet. And this really does need to get out. And if you have Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, share it. Share that to your page so people could see what special policing is and understand this comes from the Department of Justice. Um, you know, um, so this is something that's very important at this point for the safety and the crime that's rising in this country. All right, let me get to Yellen. Um, she's the last on my list, I believe. No, it's not. Oh well. Um, let's see if I can find this. Uh, well, maybe I'll read the one down at the end. The FBI is now going after. Um, it started with the January 6th, but they're learning that now what's going on with the inside of the FBI, whistleblowers have um, basically the agency is gone full blown retaliation, referring to the purge of um, the agency's employees is what they're doing. And so they're going after anyone who holds conservative view. One employee reportedly had security clearance taken away. So, and others have had it suspended. So if they have um, special clearance, all of that's being taken away. And some of them, they're even cutting into their retirement. Uh, and they said that the narrative um, uh, decorated the Iraqi war veteran, um, or a decorated Iraqi war veteran. He is being run out of the FBI, and he has been there for a very long time. His alliance to the country is being questioned because he had the gall to say that he was offended by January 6 hearings. And so now this veteran is probably going to lose his job out of this. If anybody even talks about January 6th, or they have come forward to say that they seen something, they're being forced to resign or quit, or some of them are even being fired. Two whistleblowers on the school board's narrative, with the um, going against the parents, they came out and they whistle blew on what was really going on, and they lost their jobs. Now they shouldn't have let it go, but then when you read further into um, the article, they had literally um, hundreds on the case of all these parents because it goes, nationwide. And anybody that said that these parents weren't doing anything, they were even punished. They got wrote up, saying nothing's going on at this school. It was a peaceful PTO meeting, or uh, a very peaceful school board meeting. Well, they're being written up because there was nothing that happened, and they didn't come up with a name or names of parents that need to be punished. So this whole thing with the FBI with the schools, and this is Garland that's doing this one. And not only that, but the schools, January 6th, any FBI agents that even try to go against Joe Biden could lose their job or benefits. They're saying some of the veterans in some of the um, local states that have their own FBI, uh, if it's veterans, now they're being watched, they say. That they have people that are, there are superiors calling them in and warning them that not to side with parents, not to side with anybody that's anti January 6th. So they're being told what they can and can't do. Um, you wish you had Wi Fi. Why? All right. So Yeltsin, um, yeah, not Yeltsin, Yellen. I'm sorry. Um, the hearing on the economics. She was now she is just turned 70. So see, here's another old one, and she looked like she was going to cry. I think I said that. She became Joe Biden's treasury secretary, and the transformation was complete among Yellen's first acts. Not only that, she is used to be part of um, the federal um, um, the feds uh, and on the interest. It wasn't really on the interest rates about raising or lowering. It was more she was into figuring out inflation. So it's not like Yellen has not done inflation before. She's done it for the feds and Treasury. And so she's the Treasury Secretary, and what was an order of changing the mission of the Treasury Department's financial stability, and it's an oversight council. Now the council was created by Congress after the last financial crisis, and so when she went in, she basically proclaimed um, every time they would get her on something and she looked like she was kind of lost or didn't have the answer for or didn't want to answer, she was flipping it over to climate change or gun control. So if you guys watched it when she mentioned that, is because she was hiding an answer. Um, and basically so obviously the big one is she sent a letter to the World Bank telling them the same thing as far as inflation for traditionally was a core concern of the governments, and that the economists that was emerging is a risk, and so they don't know how to cover it up anymore. See, this is what's going on. And so she goes back on into the hearings today and see what I'm hoping they ask her some um, um, uh, um, hardball questions to Yellen, because see, if she did inflation with the feds before, she should have seen it coming. It is the big thing. I know, I see it. I see it. Um, let's see, Kavanaugh just had an assassination attempt. Um, huh. Well, everybody knows that Hillary Clinton's one of her guys, her old, not old, one of her lawyers, part of what is going on here, was assassinated, and then there was another one. So Kavanaugh just had an assassination attempt. Huh? Wow. Oh, why? Well, I know why, because they want to pack the courts and they can't get rid of them. The Democrats are going one by one to all of the Republicans and asking them if they want to step down or resign or retire. And when they don't, the protesters are showing up at the House. So Kavanaugh, they have to get some bodyguards on these guys because this isn't right. So did I get it, Karen, or is there something else? So So Yellen, to finish up with Yellen, um, she has been most of her life an economist. And the thing about this is, she was covering up for the Biden administration when she basically said it was temporary. It's only for a little bit for inflation, and that everything would come back. And then I think she knew her own reputation was on the line. And if this president isn't going to be in office more than 2 more years, she better keep her standings with not only the feds, but working for the government. Otherwise, she's just going to lose her job, lose her reputation. And not only that, but people that respect her. Right now, no one respects her. So she's lost that. And I think she's looking long term on her decisions right now, coming forward saying, no, no, I should have seen it. I was wrong. At least she fell on the sword by herself, and it wasn't, she blamed Biden. Now, she does blame Trump a little bit on it, and she does blame the pandemic and other things. But for the most part, she came back in and said she made a mistake. So, um, anyway, that is it for today. And me and William's going to come back with a great show. Me and him talked for over an hour last night, and just a little bit of everything. And so it'd be me and William tonight with the military report. Some of it'll be military, some not, some on explaining a few things to you. Chaff. I believe that's what we were talking about, was chaff. And so if you want to know what chaff is, you guys are going to have to come back tonight and find out. And no, it's not the things isn't chaffs what you wear on your legs as a cowboy? Or am I wrong? I probably have this totally wrong. And now half a dozen men are laughing at me. so, um, so come on back tonight. And I want to thank Mary and Karen, our moderators. They did really good. She's a Klaus supporter. Um, yeah. Well, isn't she German? And we're back on Yellen, folks, in case you're wondering. I'm getting info over in chat. That's why I said, come on in chat, folks. If you are in Facebook, put it down in the comments, and YouTube, just jump in here and give a comment, and I'll throw it on up there, and I'll answer it for you. I'm not going to ask you for $5, believe me. But then again, $5 would be really cool for a half a bag of Oreos. Do you see anybody tried that? Now we're back on consumer thing. Has anybody seen the Oreos and they make the thin ones? I have to put two of them together, and I'm fixing to get frosting to put in between them. Get two cookies and the frosting and put it together and squish it a little bit. What they do, what's the purpose of them things? I just eat twice as many, so it didn't help me none. I'm a big cookie fan. So those are chaps. Oh, okay. Oops. Not chaps, chaffs. Those are chaps. Oops. Well, it was close, William. I was close. Well, I'm not a cowboy, though. So, anyway, to end the show off, and I thank you guys. And now go on back to this morning and watch the weather. There is an active volcano that I got a kind of a poke on this morning that went from yellow to orange. It's on the Aleutian Islands. It's a little bit of lava, nothing big yet, but it's on the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska. So I want to thank all of you for watching, and thank our fine moderators. And if you're new, share. We enjoy all of our viewers, and we're rooting for more to come on in. So subscribe, and if you're over on Facebook, you hit the follow, and of course the like, and hit the bell. We're having bell issues, so if you're watching and you still aren't getting those notifications, hit the bell again until they get you added on. So with that, we will see everyone this evening. That'll be 9 Eastern time. And it'd be me and William, and we got a great show planned for you. So God bless, and stay cool if you're in the heat, and stay safe if you're in the severe weather that's moving across the states. So we will see you tonight. If not, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a blessed day. Bye bye, folks.